godliness. You must experience his power. You must experience his essential characteristics that makes him who he is. You must experience his omnipresence, his omnipotence, his omniscience. You must experience his moral attributes, his love, his grace, his mercy, his kindness, his being long-suffering, everything that makes him who he is. You must experience God. Look at somebody and say, neighbor, I want to experience. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I don't just want to feel it in my hands, where I would just want to give him a hand clap. I don't want to just feel it in my feet, where it makes me want to shout. I don't want to just feel it in my eyes, where it makes me cry, but I want to sit him in my spirit. I want to sit him in my mind until my mind gets right, until I begin to start thinking with the mind of Christ. What will cause me to speak in a different language. It will cause me to associate with different people. It will cause me to have new ideas and a new perspective about life. I need to experience God because I have experienced so many things that was not like him, and I'm tired of the old experiences. I need something new in my life, but at the same time it's also old because God has always been here. Look, you lift your hand and say, Lord, I want to experience it. Yes, I do. I want to experience the Lord. Yes, and when you have had experiences in life, look at somebody and say, some good, some not so good. Yeah, some experiences in your life, when you think about those, it may put a smile on your face. Y'all quiet up in here. Listen with me, I'm going to mess with you. You better get with the program. Yes, and sometimes we want to pretend that we have not experienced certain things in our lives, but how many of us can become real enough to admit that because of certain things that we have experienced will cause us to behave a certain way? Because of what we used to be into, or because of who used to be into us, because of our old affections, and because of our old passions and our old desires can have a bearing on our present life. That's why you needed to experience the Lord like David experienced. This is why he says it is in the Lord. It is in the Lord. Somebody say it is in the Lord. Can I talk about that for just a little while longer? Let me take it a little further. This name of the Lord in the Hebrew, Yahweh, the root name of Yahweh is Haya. And the Haya name of God means that God has the power to make something to come to pass. When God says that he is who he is, that means when he speaks something, he does not have to check with your sister, your brother, your friend, your boss to see if it is okay if he does what he wants to do in your life. God has the power to make come to pass whatever he says. But then you have to understand that in spite of the circumstances that you are facing right now, tell your neighbor, God is going to still make it come to pass. In the midst of chaos, in the midst of confusion, in the midst of being broke, in the midst of being isolated, in the midst of being separated, in the midst of suffering 1, 2, or even 3 divorces, in the midst of being stabbed in the back, lied to your face, God is going to make it to come to pass. In the midst of your sickness, in the midst of your dilemma, in the midst of your mind going through a mental quandary, God is the higher. Lift your hands and say higher, higher, higher. The higher. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And because I know that in God there is the power to make it happen, It doesn't matter what looks to be impossible. It just looks like it's impossible. But I need some happy, some glad people in here who can praise God for God's power to make it come to pass. Yes. Have you ever experienced something in your life that looked so detrimental to your situation, and you just you couldn't believe that you had the ability to conceive that God was going to bring you out, but he did it anyway? And then the Lord had already shown you that you were coming out, but instead of you concentrating upon what God said, you focused upon what you saw. So you had to get your eyes off of what you were looking at and remember what God said in your spirit. Am I preaching in here? And then your attitude began to change, and you got a smile on your face. You got a new attitude in your transition of God making you to be the person where you are. This is still my foundation. David professes his confidence in the Lord. It is the Lord who becomes the locale of where I'm going to place my trust. The word trust in the Hebrew is kasar. And the word kasar means to flee for the purpose of protection. So when David says that it is in the Yahweh, the higher, where I put my kasar, which means that David had to run from trouble to protection. So because David recognized who the Lord was, and then also coupled with the understanding that David knew that he was in a dangerous place, he had to run from the danger to protection, because he believed that once he got in the place where God wanted him to be, he could have protection. But tell your neighbor, you gotta run. If you trust in the Lord, you got to run from where you are to where the Lord is. Now, even though God is sovereign and God is everywhere, you must also understand, however, that in God's everywhereness, God's presence is not necessarily activated, nor worshipped, nor appreciated. They can know that God is everywhere, but they refuse to give him praise. So if you are in an atmosphere where God is sovereign, but he's not being worshipped nor praised, you have to run from that place, because you don't feel God in terms of him being worshipped nor praised, and the place is a detriment to your spirit. So David said, it is in the sphere of the Lord where I will place my ability to flee for protection. God is the one who gives you protection. He is the one who covers you. Somebody say, I'm covered. God is the one who covers you. He's the one who overshadows you. He is the one who anoints you. And so God becomes your anointed covering. And